Check micro. Hello everyone, this is KE7VLC for the Mesa Amateur Radio Club, Whiskey Mike 7 Romeo Charlie. How you guys doing tonight? I know that there's a couple of you out there. I see a couple of you out there. Just want to say hi really quick. Give a shout out to Frank and Corey, because that's I imagine that's who's already on there. Looks like somebody else joined up. Not too sure exactly who. Go right ahead and shout out to everybody. So all right, we got Dennis in the in the studio tonight, or what passes for a studio. This is not you know, some major broadcast system. This is done out of my basement. So anyway, just want to say hello to everyone. I know that there's probably a couple of you guys still getting ready to check in here, so we'll allow a little bit more check-ins here. And while I kind of get a little set up here on the other side, so how's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's doing pretty good. I want to go to, let me switch over. I'm going to be doing something here in the background, so just make yourself comfortable for just a second here while I get everything all. Come on, visit site. There we go. All right, so the agenda tonight, and you know, let me know if the audio sounds pretty good too. I haven't really touched the audio too much, but I have moved my microphone, so if the microphone is not picking me up too well, I'm seeing that it is, but you know how electronics are. The time that you need them tends to be the time that they fail on you. So anyways, tonight we're gonna discuss a couple things here. We're gonna go over the camping trip first. Want to kind of give a shout out to Frank for doing a little bit of a cookout there. He made some wonderful burgers. I know Dennis over here was too afraid to try them, but oh my gosh, it was good, wasn't it? It was good. So thank you, Frank. That was definitely a delicious meal, and you know, hopefully you'll bring some more up for field day, because I like those burgers. It pretty much fed me for 2 meals. Those burgers were huge. So oh, and it looks like Vinny showed up. Hello, Vinny. How you doing? Give a shout out to Vinny there, Dennis. Oh, anyways, hope everybody's going pretty good. I know that we're kind of still kind of doing this kind of by the shoestring here, so you know, forgive me if it sounds kind of choppy, or you know, like kind of skipping around and everything. Frank, mateys. Oh yeah, that's
staring at his flag.
Yeah, definitely. Frank's been definitely staring at his flag there a little bit too much there. I'll have to put that up there. Let me find it here really quick. I know. Oh, where did we go? At least I thought it was here. I had it. Now I can't find it. Shoot, daggone it. Let's see here. No. Oh, here it is. I think this is it. Nope, that's not the flag. I'll have to find it some other time. We'll have to post it to the club's website. I really like that flag. That flag is awesome. Quite impressed with it. Oh, wait a second. Oh, this has got to be it. Here we go. All right, there we go. K1FMK. All right. Yeah, I had to dig through my Gmail really quick. It was eluding me, but there's Frank's flag there. Definitely love it. I think it's a great flag. I think he did a very good job of designing it and everything. So I'm gonna probably have to get get mine made up one of these days. Anyways, I know Vinny basically made up this flag for the club. I love this flag as well. Yeah, Frank, I've been on a bit of Photoshop crazy lately. Yes, you have, Frank. I think that's pretty cool, though. You know, it takes skill to do something like that. I might have that skill, or I don't know if I'd have the patience for it, but I definitely have the skill for it. But yeah, and there's Vinny's flag right there. I really like that one, and we're definitely going to be flying that one as well. It's a great design. I mean, it's the Arizona state flag along with you know, our logo right there on the in place of the sun. So it'd be really nice to see this kind of spread out. We'll see what happens. Anyways, just want to say hello to everyone. Let's see. Let me check and see. Okay, so we've got 5 people watching right now. That's pretty good. Go right ahead and announce who's out there lurking right now. Is anybody else is out there want to basically introduce themselves? All right. Well, we'll see what happens. My chat's a little bit ahead of your guys' chat, so you know, so it'll take me a little while to see if anybody else's chat comes up. Anyways, want to definitely say that we had a really good time at the camp out. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I think Frank had a blast. The temperatures were perfect. What did you think, Dennis?
Yeah, they were very comfortable.
Yeah. So I was quite happy with the temps. So it's a perfect time of year to go. Didn't work a lot of radios, but we did a lot of experimentation is the primary purpose of the whole entire camp out anyways. We had a lot of fun doing it. My antenna launcher worked pretty darn good. The first couple times was we had to get the barrel kind of you know, unsticky. But once and then obviously I got the wrong type of reel, so I needed to find a bigger reel to hold the amount of line, because I think I only had about 100 feet, and we were shooting up about 80 feet up, so yeah, the line came through. We were able to get the rope up and over, but yeah, it took a little bit of work. So, but the antenna launcher worked well. So you know, it's not. I'm not going to say it's a proof of concept anymore. I'm gonna definitely say that it's a great product. If anybody really wants to know exactly how to build one, it's quite simple. The design is actually fairly easy to do, and we'll definitely go right ahead and post the instructions on there. Yes, Vinny, I definitely agree. We need a Pirate Cannon antenna launcher. 20-pound cannonball going over the trees. Yeah. I think the campers in the nearby will probably have to pack up camp and go home or something, because although the problem with having a cannon is I would probably be over there playing around with the cannon all weekend instead of getting any radio work done. So I don't know. I don't know if the cannon's such of a great idea. The other thing that I liked about the camp out was where we were located at. We could have easily had at least a couple more, about three more campers up there.
Easy.
And we could have, and the antennas were far enough apart. But more importantly, we actually built these bandpass filters. That's the other topic tonight, was bandpass filters, and we've been talking about this for quite a while. Chad actually purchased his from, I think, DX Engineering or something like that, and yeah, they were fairly expensive. I think Frank and I were pricing them at like $200 and some odd. I think the 1,000 watt, the 1 kilowatt versions were going for like 300 and something, and I think the 250 watt ones were going for like 192 or something like that. And quite honestly, Frank and I were doing a little bit of pricing. He used different capacitors than I did, and I think we were coming up right around about $80 to $100. So in reality, you're saving yourself at least a good, $80 to $90 by building them. Plus, then you get the experience of actually soldering and
Yep.
building the board and winding the toroids. I think the hardest part of the whole entire project was winding the toroids.
Yeah, it looked like a sewing club in operation.
The Mesa Knitting Club out there. Not too far off. Anyway, here is one version. And I'll transition over so you can see it a little bit closer. This is what we built out there. And this is not the actual final version. These actually worked pretty decent, I would say, because I was on 20 meters and Frank jumped on 20 meters and or no, he was on 40 meters and he couldn't hear me. So that's good. At least it's keeping interference from other stations nearby out, which is the primary goal of having the bandpass filters. And these things work really well, especially for field day when you have multiple different stations. If you have a PSK 31 station operating and somebody nearby operating on a different band than yours, all of a sudden you get crosstalk and harmonics, strange harmonics in there, and all of a sudden you get weird signals throwing your whole entire signal off. Now the bandpass filters eliminates everything except for the band that it's designed for. This one here is designed for 20 meters, so essentially it's going to filter out everything other than 20 meters. I believe you're right, Vinny. They do definitely go into the, I believe they go into the circuit right before the SWR meter. I can't remember if it goes before or I think it's after the tuner. And then that way, yeah, there you go. Frank just answered it. It's after the tuner. So because you got to tune up to the band that you're on anyways, so you might as well put it in front of the bandpass filter. But I love them. I think they're a great product. And matter of fact, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, let me switch back over to the screen share here. Here is the, well, Frank went out, actually found a place that makes the PCB boards for it. He actually designed up the artwork on it and everything, put our logo on there, designed where the circuit was supposed to be, and then sent it off to have it printed out. Now the cool thing about this is it's basically through hole. All you have to do is push the little leads through, and then you flip the board over on the other side and you solder it on the other side. Looks very, very clean. Looks beautiful. I mean, if we get enough of these, we could probably hand them out to club members and stuff of that nature, and I think it'd be really, really good. The hard part so far has been trying to find a source for the cases. The cases, we found one source. Frank did priority overnight, and I did the the delivery by sled dog, because it's taken a long time for mine to get through. At least a good week and a half now, and they possibly might not even be in. It's not really the shipping's fault. It's actually the fact that they ran out of the cases. So as soon as those cases get in, I'm going to go over to Frank's place, and we're going to get these get mine built. And then what we plan on doing is we're going to plan on putting the parts list up on the club website, and for field day we're going to actually build these if anybody's interested. It's not that difficult to do. Quite honestly, the hardest part was winding the toroids, and once you got once you've done a couple of them, all of a sudden it becomes like second nature to you. You just got to make sure you're counting the turns correctly, because if you look, you could probably, you could see it in the picture there. This one right here has more turns than these two do, and it's not really the spacing comes by just counting the turns and then basically spacing them apart. But the what is it? The lower the band, the middle one just gets so difficult. It gets really tight in there. The capacitors, Frank used silica. What was it? I can't remember it. It's not the silica mica. That's it. That's what he used. I used on mine as well, except I do have a couple ceramic silver mica. That's it. Did I say silica? Well, there you go. Anyways, the design is not that difficult. I've got it up on our website already. I've got it up on YouTube, or not you. Well, we did discuss it on YouTube, but it's also up on our Facebook page as well. If you need it, just send me an email to Kilo Echo 7 Victor Lima Charlie at Whiskey Mike 7 Romeo Charlie.org, and I'll definitely shoot you over the information. But we plan on, if you guys are coming up, if there's any new hams or any hams that want to get on HF that doesn't have any bandpass filters, and you would like to have a set, all you have to do is procure the parts, and we'll sit down and show you how to do it and everything, and then we'll get you a set going.
Do you have the website where the instructions are?
Yes, yeah, and I can send that out to everybody.
Yeah.
So, the other thing that we did at the camp out, we attempted to do satellite passes. Now, satellites are a little on the finicky side. You kind of have to have really good view of the horizon. You got to know exactly where the satellites are going to pass and everything. And I went over that in our last virtual meeting. Let's see here. I think that was last month's meeting there. Let's see here. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let me go back to the chat here really quick here. Vinny's asking, do you need coax to connect to PL259 to PCB, or is wire okay? Wire is okay. Actually, you could use a little bit of coax if you wanted to, but the way the connectors are, you pretty much are soldering to the back of the board, to the back of the connector. But quite honestly, you could probably do either way. Having a little bit of a shield inside the case probably wouldn't hurt. No. I don't think it's going to hurt anything. So, hey Joanne, how you doing? Thank you for popping in. Dennis is here. Hello. Anyways, that was pretty much fun. We were doing the satellite passes. We had fun trying. I got the ARRL antenna put together. That's not that hard. I've built those things, or I put those together a couple times in the past. Yeah. We tried to use your tripod.
Well, that tripod was just the gearing on the train to slow down the sweep of the sky that failed miserably.
Yeah. So we definitely need to work on that, and we'll keep working on that.
Working on the Mark II version now.
Yeah, Joanne, I'm in the mountains. I'm always in the mountains. I've got my cabin way up in the woods. Yep. I got great fishing out here too. I was, caught a good 2-foot bass out there this morning. Or actually trout, I think is what it was. It was a nice big trout. I wish. Anyways, we're definitely going to keep on working on the the mechanism. And I know that Frank's got a couple recommendations or thoughts on how we can get the tracking motors. And I know Frank wants to try Joanne. Anyways, Frank's got a couple good ideas about how we can do this too. So we'll see what we can do. Obviously, I want to do a little bit more work on getting a couple, cameras and stuff of that nature before field day, but we'll see what happens there. Anyways, so that was the camp out. It was I enjoyed it. I had fun. Of course, the worst day camping is better than the best day at work, right?
Right.
Anyways, of course, Frank and myself all sit there and go, we need to camp more, and I don't know if I could do every month. I know I could do every weekend if I wanted to, but I think it's a little issue. But we had fun, and like Dennis was making fun of us for the sewing these toroids up there at camp,
which looked good from a distance. It could have been making quilts.
So, well, so the next thing that is on our agenda is going to be our SSTV. All right, this. I know Frank and I were really enthused with this because this was something I had a lot of fun with. If you get a moment, jump on, check out the SSTV video I made on YouTube. It's right underneath our club site there. Underneath, I think I put it underneath training videos. I'd have to double check on that, but I did a video on slow scan TV. Yes, it was a little bit on the rush side. Because I wanted to get it up before the end of the week, before the end of the weekend, and I was doing a whole bunch of stuff. So, but I thought the video turned out pretty good. And thank you, Frank, for sending me over that video clip of yours so that somebody can see the opposite side of it. I use the poor man method. Frank uses the rich man's method. So, and the only difference is his radio connects directly to his computer, whereas mine I had to use a microphone. So, and I thought we did a fairly decent job of covering both sides of it. You can do it for fairly inexpensive. You can do it with a HT if you want to, even a Baofeng radio. You can do a little, $35 little Baofeng radio and connect it up to an antenna and listen. Now they don't do slow scan TV from the International Space Station all that much. It's only every so often, and you kind of have to check the website to find out exactly when they're going to do it. Sometimes you can hear them talking on the radio. Sometimes not often. It all depends on the astronaut's schedule. And sometimes they're sleeping, and sometimes they're working outside the space station or doing projects or anything like that. So if you ever get a chance and listen in on the ISS, it's a lot of fun, and it's actually fairly easy to do, to track and everything. And I even showed that in the video and everything. So we're going to give it another try during field day, both before and during and after. Because it's one of my goals. I would like to try to make at least one satellite contact via radio. So we'll see. Let's see here.
They have that software you can get off the internet, so you can see the slow scan TV, but you have to have the program.
That is correct. And in the video, I mentioned the actual program. There's actually a couple different programs out there. I do the SSTV program, and that'll work for both HF, VHF. So all you need to have is the ability for your computer to decode the slow scan TV. What other issue are you talking about, Frank? Are you talking about um, the inability to see the horizon? Because in that timber camp, there's a lot of hills that come up. So if there's a really low pass um, over the horizon, you can't see over, because it's line of sight for the for those satellites. So I I doubt it was me drinking because I think I only had like maybe 1 or 2 beers up there. So, um, oh yes, Frank, yes, that was one issue there where my satellite information for some strange reason was saying that I was in Yuma, and I don't know where in the world it got Yuma. You know, had to basically kick it over to say globe so that I can actually get it. But yeah, that was one issue right there. It's little things like that. You got to constantly check there. Yeah, it was giving me a few minutes off of the positioning, so it was like saying, "Oh yeah, it's going to come up over the horizon in like 2 minutes," and in reality, it was going to be like 4 minutes. And so yeah, that was kind of silly and funny. Good learning lesson though. Always check to make sure you've got everything all ready. Um, the slow scan TV from the International Space Station. What I had to do there, I literally had to go out about an hour before the ISS actually came up over the horizon to get everything set up and make sure everything was working right, including my software and the computer and everything. And then all it is just a waiting game. So check that video out. It's a great video. If you have any questions about slow scan TV or anything like that, definitely let us know. This is one reason why I would like to do a QSO card, just a general QSO card for us, so that when we do slow scan TV, for like maybe field day or even on one of our regular campouts or something like that, we can use that as the image that we transmit. So I'm wondering if who else is okay. So we got 6 people watching. I'm hoping that Chad is the other person, but I don't know. Yeah, Vinny. Definitely. I could just simply do the record audio on the laptop, and then worry about setting up and capturing the audio later. Um, that's definitely something that we can do. And I highly recommend it. I wanted to do it live. I wanted to stand there with my antenna pointed at it and decoding it the exact same time it was going over. Otherwise, I could have just left it. But Frank has had the ability to just basically sit there and say, okay, as soon as it comes up, record, and then he could decode later. I still have the audio, so what we can do one of these days when we're out camping or something like that, I can just drag that audio out, and we could do show how the audio decodes and everything. It's quite fun to see that program actually work. But I can also upload the audio to like Facebook or even YouTube, and then let you go and play with it. Obviously the time is gone for you to send in for a QSO card for it or something like that, but at least you can give it a try with a known audio source. There's plenty of audio sources out there. All you have to do is go to YouTube and type in SSTV audio source or something like that, and they'll come up. So yes, I could use the Android app, and I did for one. And the Android app, all you have to do is put right next to the audio source. But I have a laptop, I have a microphone, so I just stick right next to the speaker of my in my vehicle. So it was fun. Definitely a learning curve. I definitely want to do a lot more. So, and quite honestly, I would like to do slow scan TV over HF one of these days. I think it'd be I think it'd be fun to give it a try. Anything on that?
More equipment to drag out into the desert.
and you have a problem with that? Just another mode for us to try. anyways, all right. So the next next one I'm going to talk about is the let's do the ARRL proposal to give techs HF. Now this is something that I was on the fence for. I was kind of a little hesitant saying this is a good thing, and the primary reason is because a lot of times technicians, if you're not experienced with HF, you can do some funky things. Interfere with others and things of that nature. I've heard, I don't know how many times we're sitting there, at camping or something like that, and you hear somebody keying up over somebody else, or things of that nature. But like Frank said, when are they going to learn? When are they going to be able to be given the opportunity to at least attempt to learn? And he's right about it. They've got to learn sometime. Which brings me to another subject here, which we'll get to in just a second. The thing is, I like the idea now because Frank and I were talking about this on our camp out, and he was all like, what this does is it just brings us into basically the same radio realm as every other country out there.
Right. And
that got me thinking, is that true? Is it, so I started doing some digging around, not saying that Frank was wrong, or anything like that. It wasn't that I didn't believe Frank or anything like that. What it was is it got me thinking about that, going, okay, well, what in the world is actually going on? So I looked up how UK handles doing licensing. I looked up Australia, I looked up New Zealand, and there's a whole bunch of countries in Europe that basically what you have is what they call a foundation license. And you get HF privileges, you get VHF and UHF privileges. The only limitation in the privileges is how much wattage you can put out. In Australia, if you hold a foundation license, you are required to buy your own equipment. You have to buy an actual certified radio. You can't build anything. You can't modify anything. And then once you get the next license, then you're allowed to actually modify your equipment or build your own transceiver if you want to. The next level gives you full wattage. So it's or up to something like, I think it's like 250 watts or something like that. And then if you go up to their third tier, then you get the full 1500 watt limitation, and you get extra you get things like 60 meters and 30 meters, and so I think it's really cool that they're thinking about this, and quite honestly, that actually brought me off of that fence, and now I'm actually agreeing with the ARRL on this. My biggest issue with them is they were trying to make it into like, well, if we expect our technicians to do emergency communications, this is necessary. And I don't wholeheartedly agree with that. I think in reality, the ARRL needs to back off from pushing emergency communications. We're already getting into, let's skip over that for right now, because I want to come back to that and discuss that really quick, or in a little bit later here. Anyways, in the show notes, I've already got the links to all these documents that I've got here. And the first one is from the July 2017 board, where they were discussing this. And in here, ask the FCC to add some HF digital and phone access to the current technician class privileges. And I'll go over the little slivers of HF that a technician would get if the FCC agrees with this and goes forward. And here they are. They're talking about how amateur radio growth has been modest at best for many years, and they're saying that just about 1% growth year over year, which is kind of interesting. But here's the one interesting aspect of this whole entire thing. In the 10 years before the removal of Morse code, the number of hams actually dropped by 3%. I was kind of shocked by that. But then I sat there and thought about, well, who was actually being a ham radio operator at that time? It was a lot more of the older crowd. So, I could see that, And here's the actual chart here. And let me zoom in here so you guys can see it a little bit better. Here's the actual chart. Okay, so here in 97, 98, I mean, it dropped down quite tremendously. And then it came back up, and then right about 2005 it dropped again, and I think it was 2006, I think it was 2006 they dropped the code, and that was right around about the time right after Katrina, and I'll cover Katrina here in just a little bit and the reasoning behind them dropping the code, because that actually fits into my whole entire other ARRL little thing here. Now the interesting thing, and I don't understand this, the FCC stopped collecting birth date information in 2000. It would be kind of nice to know what your average age of ham is, right? I mean, well, not the average age of your ham. If you have a ham that's sitting around and it's got an average age, we got some issues. Anyways, the average age of your hams. I really think that it'd be really nice to be able to sit there and say, okay, well, has the age, average age dropped, or has it grown, or whatever. I thought it was kind of fascinating. I going back and doing all this little digging through and reading articles and stuff, I found I found it very fascinating. I'll just put it that way. So first and foremost, the way I look at ham radio, especially nowadays, is it's a hobby first. Emergency communications comes at the after that, and there's a reason why I believe this, and I'll go over that here in just a second. But an entry-level license should be attainable for pretty much the general population, and I agree with that. That's a statement right there. I 100% agree. I think anybody should be able to go down and take the test and pass it. Now, to me, I also believe that the license is not a license to get on the air. I think it's a license to learn. And that's the reason why I think that the ARRL should be pushing the hobby first and emergency communications very last. Shouldn't even be bringing it up at this point in time. But there's a reason why I think that. Anyways, this study was actually, this document was directly from the ARRL, so that this is not biased or anything of that nature, other than that it's biased by the ARRL. Let's see here. They went in to tell about how they did the survey and everything, and I thought it was kind of fascinating how they did it, except that quite honestly, they should have been thinking about why there was a lot of people exiting the hobby. But so here we are, we're talking about what HF bands are going to be on here, and I really kind of like this, especially with the way the sunspot activity is going. 10 meters, not always there, not always optimum for 10 meter propagation, and besides, the majority of your technicians are probably going to be the younger crowd anyways, and they're probably going to be either in school or at work, and 10 meters is open during the daytime, so it's one of those things. So I actually really enjoy this. I think it's a great idea. And thanks to Frank for basically saying, hey, hold on one second, stop and think about this. So let's look at the band chart here. All right, so the one on your left is the current chart. Okay, the one on the right is actually the chart for the new tech license. Now the technician, notice it's still the EAG and N on the side of everything here, but they've added a new letter here, the T. Now I think this this person actually built this chart. I don't know if this actually came out. I don't know if the ARRL did this.
The article of that you had there, it was part of that article.
Okay, there we go. So, so you can see the little bit of slivers where technician gets a little bit of phone portion, as well as a little bit more code and digital. Now the one thing that I think that the ARRL kind of missed on this, and this is going to start leading into what my reasoning behind them from why the ARRL should stay away from pushing emergency communications as much. Their whole entire, if you actually read some of this over here, let's see here, like here, mentoring. Work with existing clubs and hams to develop and provide tools for mentoring and outreach. Local clubs are an important resource and need encouragement to further the goal of getting more people licensed on the air. And quite honestly, I haven't heard that from the ARRL. You know, it's in this document, but a lot of what they've been pushing out there anymore has been just emergency communications, emergency communications, emergency communications.
That's the big thing now because of the tornadoes and hurricanes and everything. And
yeah, and there's a place for it. But if they're trying to get younger hams involved, I really don't think that that's the way you're going to get younger hams.
Well, if they want to be heroes.
Well, yeah, true. You know, and this is where I start going back down to where I was going to go after the whole entire thing. So what I'll do is I'll talk about the bands here. So you get a little bit of 80 meters and quite a bit of 40 meters. 40 meters, for those of you who have never been camping with us, you're missing out. 40 meters is awesome. 20 meters is awesome. I like both of those bands. 80 meters, you start getting into the little bit more, you know, night crowd, older crowd that gets a little bit on the, you know, gruff side occasionally.
Touchy side.
And then you've got 160. 160 is basically an unobtainable band unless you have a huge antenna and a, you know, some fairly decent power. Which I'm glad that they didn't give technicians, you know, because there really is no need for it. The one band that I think that they missed on this, and you know, Vinny or Frank or anybody else, if you want to chime in here too, I think they missed on 20 meters. I think they should have given some. Look at the cycles. Yeah, that they've got nothing over there for technicians in 20 meters,
put some there.
And
yeah.
I'm a little bit disappointed in that.
Yeah.
20 meters and 40 meters is where it's really at. 80 meters, not so much. I think the only reason why they gave 80 meters is because if there is a new ham that is helping out with an Aries group or something, there might be a little bit of emergency communications on those frequencies. But quite honestly, the majority, about 98% of emergency communications isn't HF anyways, it's VHF. So, and that's another reason why I think that they they shouldn't have used this as, oh, we're doing this because of emergency communications. They really should have said, we really want technicians to get a little bit of experience on HF to see what they think. At the same time, technicians can come over and work with clubs, you know,
if there's a club for them to go to.
Exactly. If there's a club that they can go to. And again, that goes back to my next little subject, which is a little bit. I really think that ARRL needs to start pushing clubs a lot more. I think they really need to start getting involved with clubs. Um, and if Virgil or anybody is listening in or hearing this, step up. Let's see some ARRL. I mean, Frank and I were out there. Uh, um, see here, 20 meters is to keep existing general and extras happy. Yeah, maybe. Um, let's see here. The folks that should be getting in are the ones using Raspberry Pis and Arduinos, etc. And that's exactly it, Frank. And that's exactly the reason why I think um, this is such of a good idea, because there's a lot of digital stuff that you can do off of a Raspberry Pi. So, and we're not talking about the Raspberry Pi that you stick in the oven. Although, if you guys want to bring a Raspberry Pi to our, field day for us to eat, I'm all for it. Anyways, I think it's a great idea. And I'm definitely on board now. So thank you, Frank, for having a good, decent discussion with me and talking to me and and pointing that direction, because that got me doing a lot more deeper dive into it. And so thank you. I definitely appreciate it. I definitely agree. We definitely need new hams. And here again, provide outreach to new hams and local clubs to improve upon the number of new licenses or licensees who successfully get on the air. And continue to develop on-air activities to encourage new hams to try different aspects of amateur radio. And that right there, I think, is exactly the way the ARRL needs to start pushing this. Instead of going down the whole entire emergency communications path, they need to start going, hey, listen, we want to start bringing in some younger hams. We want to start getting them experience with HF, and, we're going to start working with some clubs around. We were camping, and the president of the Arizona section drove right past us and didn't even stop, even though we've notified him via APRS several times, that we were there. We messaged him. So, there's a missed opportunity right there. I mean, if he had, been paying attention to his APRS, of course he was driving, so, and he was driving through Salt River Canyon, so I'm kind of glad that he was actually paying attention to his driving and not to his messages. But at the same time, it's one of those where, if he had been paying attention to what kind of clubs are out there and what kind of activities are going on, he could have probably noticed that, oh, they're going to be camping up there, and it's going to be at a campground right near where I'm going to be driving. I'll pull in and stop and see what, Oh, well. Yeah, definitely, Frank. We could have reached out beforehand as well. So, it would be nice to see a little bit more ARRL presence at some of these meetings and stuff. And I hope that the ARRL is going to take this serious and start working on, working with clubs. I think it'd be kind of cool to see.
Well, they got the deal going with the ARRL finding somebody to take it over.
Oh yeah, because the other president.
That's going to be the guy that figures it out is the one that's going to. Have the I guess the exposure to increase their interest in clubs.
Yes.
He has to be on that.
That he's got to be on the same message,
right?
And
I haven't seen anybody yet. I mean,
yeah,
they're so concentrated back east anyway.
Oh yeah.
So we're just kind of on the fringes of their interest.
Oh yeah. But this whole entire research actually brought me to the Radio Society of Great Britain.
Oh, we're gonna jump off the eye, huh?
The cool thing is Great Britain doesn't push emergency communications like we do over here. It's actually kind of interesting, and Vinny and I actually were agreeing on this. I think this is a great idea, and I wish the ARRL would start going down this path. They really push clubs over there in Britain.
Well, they're kind of a clubby country.
Yeah, they definitely are.
Yeah,
they got their gun clubs, golf clubs, gentlemen, tea clubs. They'll
go to the pub.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody goes down to the pub in the afternoon and, sits around and has a couple pints or something like that. So I really, really like this. I quite honestly, I really wish we could belong to the Radio Society of Great Britain, and
you can join.
I've seen it. Yeah, I don't know. We might have to, Vinny and I might have to explore that and see if we can become part of the UK for club wise. I think it'd be kind of fun. Zoom in on it. Let's see here. All right. Let's see here if I can remember exactly where is my zoom button. Oh, I can't remember how to zoom.
You moved up a bit there.
All right. There we go. All right.
Go down to their strategies. There you go.
So here's our strategies. Exist to protect, promote, and enhance the use, understanding, and enjoyment of wireless communications. Well, that's exactly what ham radio is all about. Learning about and using wireless communications through lifelong learning, experimentation, and the use of new technology. The community, diverse but like-minded people where there is mutual respect and strength in numbers. See here, our goal for 2022 to have an active and thriving amateur radio community supported by a strong representative and influential RSGB. Grow and develop amateur radio. It's so cool to see this whole entire thing. It's just and I put the link to the actual page in the show notes as well. So you guys are more than welcome to click on that link as well. But I think it's kind of cool. Youngsters on the air here. It looks like they were hosting some sort of summer camp at Gilwell Park. Great idea. I think this is cool. The ARRL needs to take a page from the Boy Scouts and have like a youth. I know that there is the Boy Scouts jamboree on the air, but it'd be kind of cool to see the ARRL do something like a youth seminar or something where youth can travel over to a place in Kansas or something of that nature to get on the air and stuff of that nature. Yeah, exactly, Frank. Very. But did you know that the Boy Scouts or the scouting groups over in the UK also do jamboree on the air? So I think it's kind of cool. I really when I finally started looking when I finally started looking at some of the stuff, I think we are backwards. I think our country is thinking about amateur radio totally backwards, and it just seems kind of strange. It's I kind of like this.
It's also the size. England is not.
Yeah.
I've driven across England. It's not that big.
Well, I've driven across the United States, but
there's a lot of you could.
I've dipped my toes in the Atlantic and I've dipped my toes in the Pacific as well as the Gulf of.
Yeah, but there were 3 or 4 days between
well,
those.
True.
You can drive across England in about 45 minutes.
Let's see here. Yeah, and Frank, yes, they are definitely, the scouting group is finally making inroads on that one. Matter of fact, the Boy Scouts are no longer called the Boy Scouts of America. They're called
just Scouts.
Scouts.
Yeah.
They're coming into basically the way every other country in this world does it.
Yeah.
Just Scouts. It's a scouting group, and it's co-ed. And I'm kind of happy to see that.
Yep.
Not that I don't think that we should have divisions. I don't think that we should have boys versus girls or something of that nature. I think it's time that we just have one scouting organization.
A lot of the scouting background people are from churches. And I think that's part of the problem.
Oh, yeah. So that's where I was kind of going with this whole entire thing. You guys can always visit the Radio Society of Great Britain and take a look at it. And my recommendation is take a look at how amateur radio is done in Australia and New Zealand.
Well, in Australia, it's just everyday thing because that's how they communicate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the majority of them are, way in the back country, But they take pride in their their stuff
yeah.
too. You know, they have a lot of fun.
Ever ranch house out there has a radio in it.
Oh yeah. Um, but here's the actual FCC document here. And you guys can look this up. This is all public information. This isn't something like Orion's keeping this information, you know. Last time I heard K2BSA on the air, no, I have not heard K2BSA on the air, and I wouldn't even know who in the world they are. So, but I like the fact that, you know, they are trying to make trying to get the youth involved in it. You tried to get us involved in the STEM activity over here in AJ, and quite honestly, I was a little disappointed that we couldn't make it happen. Were you able to go there, or?
No, we could have done something, but it wouldn't have. We couldn't get an antenna in there so we could be active.
Okay.
It's just too far from the roof into the area where they wanted us to set up, and then I looked at doing it outside, but they've got power lines that are really close to the areas where they have the lawn and stuff.
Yeah.
And the city was not too keen. We would have had to got permission from the city to do that. So I don't know.
It's one of those things where it's kind of sad that we actually have to get like permission from the city to do anything.
Well, safety. It's a safety
issue.
Yeah.
And I understand. I think it's kind of funny.
I volunteered to drill a hole through the roof so I'd just drop it right in. But
yeah, just leave the hole there and let it leave.
Leave it in there, you know. We'll just leave an.
You only get a couple inches of rain every year. It's not going to hurt anything.
That met on deaf ears. So.
Oh well, you know, that's the librarians don't get don't they don't take too kindly to their books getting wet. So anyways, it would be kind of nice to do that. And I started looking at some of the other STEM events. And for those of you who don't know what STEM is, it's science, technology, engineering, and math. And it's basically they have these little maker fairs and things of that nature.
There's a big one in Mesa.
Yep. However,
we were too late learning about it to do anything.
The group that does that one in Mesa is actually the Boy Scouts of America.
Oh, is it?
Yep. And they're the ones that actually have like the D-Star repeater over in this area and all that other stuff. But yep, they were the ones that were doing that one. So I don't want to encroach on their turf because it's the Boy Scouts and they're doing a service to the youth as well. So the one that really shocked me is there's another one that's out here that the Sun Life Group does.
Big retirement
community? The retirement community getting involved in this stuff. And I thought I just thought it was kind of an odd thing. You would think that you would want to have a little bit more of a younger crowd doing those STEM things, doing the presentation for the STEM stuff, because the younger crowd, if they see a younger, and I'm not necessarily saying a 14 or 13-year-old kid doing the presentation, but I'm saying somebody like 18, 20, maybe 30 years old, they're gonna listen to them a little bit more than they're going to listen to somebody that's 65, 70 years old. So
the only other thing would be going to the Boys and Girls Club here in Apache Junction.
Yeah.
And they've got a new supervisor. The person that was doing it retired.
Okay.
We'll have to see if the new guy might be interested in working with us on something like that. They have their own buildings by the grade school there. It's part of the old grade school. And I've been in there, and they got pretty good facilities.
So that's where this is going, and I really hope that the ARRL kind of understands that if the clubs are the ones that are the primary reason why a lot of youth get in, it'd be kind of nice for the ARRL to kind of really start paying a lot more attention to the clubs and giving the clubs a little bit more shout outs and things of that nature, especially on their news, and even in their magazine, the QST magazine. It'd be nice to see some, like a club page in there or something like that.
Again, it goes back to who's the head of the thing.
Well,
they're in transition.
The other issue is the clubs themselves.
Yeah.
Vinny and I have been through, I don't know how many clubs in this valley, and it's all the same old. And a lot of youth, a lot of young people, they don't want to stand there and have somebody pound a gavel on the table and go, call a meeting, and let's stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance, and okay, let's read out the minutes from the last meeting and stuff of that nature, which is the reason why we do our meetings differently. We don't do that. Of course, I don't have any recorded meetings from last meeting anyway.
Note, they have to go up to the mountains to get to our meetings.
Well, yeah, true. And so there goes, anybody who can't drive.
Well, you got all the stuff about carrying kids up there and getting the permissions and all that stuff.
And I'm
not going to happen for a lot of people.
No, and quite honestly, I don't think our club really wants to really be responsible for kids anyways.
Yeah,
so
right. That's where we go back to another organization that's already involved in kids.
Yeah. Anyways, I think our club is perfectly fine right where it's at. With the majority of, I think Vinny pulled the average age of our group at one time, and it was in the like 40s or 50s or something like that, or maybe a little bit younger than that. And that's great. We're the working force of of America and stuff of that nature. So that's great. And that's what we want to do. We want to encourage. And when I say younger crowd, I'm saying anybody under the age of 60. So, I would, what I would like to see is a lot more 20 and 30-year-olds, maybe even some 40-year-olds involved in ham radio. We got Joanne. It's rude of a guy to ask how old Joanne is, so I'm assuming that she's about my age. So, anyways. She's always out there.
Let's see what she says about it.
she hasn't spoken up yet. Hopefully she won't get too offended. But Joanne's out there with us, and we have a great time with Joanne. She's got the interest to. Okay. She goes, let's just say that I'm still under 60. Okay, so there we go. See, I enjoy having a lot of different age groups out there because you get a lot of different types of knowledge base. There's things that I learned and there's things that I can teach, and that's what I like about that. So I highly encourage anybody who's in their 20s and 30s, get involved. Step up and talk to us. We go camping. Now we're going to go camping 4 times a year to get out there. We'll try to do some more, like the Bandpass Filters. We can always do those over at a park somewhere.
Well, the Bandpass Filters is a nice project, but it's pretty advanced for people that are just trying to learn. Stuff.
Yes, yes.
You need something simpler, and I don't know what that would be.
Yeah, we're still working on that. But anyways, the next part of, and speaking of that, my kit radio, my micro uBitx actually did arrive.
Oh, good.
I need to find a case for it so that I can start building it.
I have something for that. I'll talk to you later about it.
Okay, all right. So we'll go down that way. Yes, we do still have the 600 ohm ladder line antenna that we need to build. And I will grab all that material and bring it up with us for field day. I think it'd be fun to build that. That's the wooden slat ladder line that we were wanting to build, and we still haven't done it yet. So we need to do that. So that's going to be one project that we can do up there.
I have a lot of twin lead, but I don't have any ladder line. That stuff's expensive.
We're building our own ladder line.
Oh, you're going to do it with the, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We're going to go way back. We're going to go back even before you were born, Dennis, and that's how we're going to do it, all right?
It's going to look like the 1930 era.
That's right. We want to
wiring with the tubes and knobs.
We want our pirate ship to look like the Titanic, all right? Not sink like the Titanic now. We want it to look like the Titanic. We want wire antennas up and down the mast all over the place.
Go to the Chinese place and see how many chopsticks I can get.
Yes, we have drilled the. We already have drilled the boards. All we need to do is find a way to attach it to the wire. That's all we have. It's all we really need to do at this point. I took the time to do that, so that was before last field day. So I think it'll be fun. I think that would be kind of a fun project to do. So I hope that you guys get out there and at least join us for field day. Let's see here. What was I going to talk about? Oh, I know. We can talk about. Let's see here. Field day, field day, field day, field day. All right, this is just a preliminary data right now. I've got all the information up on our club website. It's easy to find. All you have to do is come over here and click on the little ARRL field day click there, and it comes up with all the information there. It is June 23rd and 24th. We're going to be camping at a different spot this year, so you're going to definitely need to click on this link here. This is going to take you to the Google Maps. It's going to be looking very confusing at first until you understand the methodology behind why it looks confusing. So here it is. Here is where we're going. And notice over here on the side over here we have Point Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, so on and so forth. That's because we don't know. This is, we're not reserving a campground. So if we drive up on Thursday and we can't get Point Alpha, we're going to have to fall back to something, and we're going to have to find a way to communicate with everyone. So for those of you who are not coming up on Thursday, or even coming up on Thursday, if you're not going to be traveling with us,
is there cell phone at that site?
According to Frank, yes, there is. Let's see here, but this year Frank and I both have Wi-Fi extenders, or cell phone extenders for our
okay, well, maybe text
for our wireless.
Everybody.
Well, what we plan on doing, what I would like to do is English alphabet. Point Alpha. I did the whole entire the Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, just because, hey, everybody needs to know that terminology anyway. So Verizon works decent. ATT is spotty at best for cell phone coverage there. However, we will have Wi-Fi. Frank and I both had Wi-Fi at our last camp out. Of course, that was easy to do. We could,
just because you can get a cell tower doesn't mean.
Oh, we've got little Wi-Fi, the little Wi-Fi adapters. So, and then we also have our little Yagi antennas that we had that pointed to the cell towers, and we're going to have it up, quite high so we can get a decent direction there. So the plan is we're going to attempt to get Point Alpha, okay, which is this point right here. Okay, if you have questions about which point this is, you can always come over here and just click on the little layers over here. But Point Alpha is this little spot right down here. You're going to turn off of road, I think it's 512. It's Young Highway. So if you've ever been up on the 260, okay, so here's Woods Canyon Lake for everybody. Everybody knows where Woods Canyon Lake is. All right, Woods Canyon Lake is easy to find. Here's 260. Come up 260 to the top of the rim, and then there's a left to go down Woods Canyon Lake. You don't want to go to Woods Canyon Lake. Keep going. Keep going. Keep on going down 260. You'll come to a where is it? Yeah, here it is. Young Highway. There is a sign there. See here. And it does say Road to Young, and it also says, I think it's Forest Road 512 or whatever it is. You come down Young Highway, and you come down to basically right here. We will have signs out on the roadway. Frank actually, Frank, did you just email those to me, or am I dreaming something here? Hold on one second here. Oh, that's the flag. Okay, never mind. Anyways, we are going to have a sign out here on the road pointing in the direction of where we're going to be. And it is fairly obvious because if you go in here, you'll see it. And it's off to the left is where we're going to initially try to get. If we can't go to Point Alpha, we'll go to Point Bravo. Obviously, if we can't get Point Bravo, we're going to go to Charlie. Let's see here. That's Foxtrot. There's Delta. There's Echo. And here's Foxtrot. So what you need to do is you're going to need to pay attention to our club website as well as Facebook page. We will be on a repeater. I think we're going to try to be on Rimlink. So you know, just give a call sign out. Essentially, yes, Vinny. So start driving until you find me. Find us. I'm going to try to be up there fairly early on Thursday, so I have a feeling that we'll be able to grab this point. And then what I'll do is I'll post it up on Facebook and our club website saying, hey, go to Point Alpha or whatever. The plan is we're going to have at least one, if not two, VHF, UHF radios. We'll be monitoring, and then obviously we'll have Wi-Fi up there too. Well, I don't know if Tuesday or Wednesday is really that needed. I mean, if you want to go up and try to grab it, you know, go for it. If you zoom in here, the way I would like to try to do it this year is put the antennas on the very outskirts of our camp and put us towards the middle so that we're not really having to yell back and forth or use radios to communicate with each other. I would like to try to set up in the center little loop area right in here if possible. And then have our antennas dragging off into the woods and set up out on the outskirts over here. Primarily for two reasons. There's two reasons why I want to do this. One, it reduces the amount of interference between all of our stations, and then the number two is that way we can just basically talk back and forth rather than having to shout or anything of that nature. It's just easier to deal with. Plus, you know, the center of camp is where all the activity is going to be anyways, and then what we'll do is we'll set up a little bit further away and do our you know, training and stuff of that nature as well. So just keep in mind, this is a dirt road, but Frank says that pretty much Vinny's car can go. So if Vinny's car can go, then anybody can go. So that's what this is. Now, if you notice, I've got a couple other little tag markers up here. We've got the Forest Lakes General Store and we've got the Forest Lakes Lodge. So if you're not wanting to camp, if say you are just allergic to sleeping on the ground and you don't have a camper and you want to stay up there, the Forest Lakes Lodge is you know, a place that you can check out. Obviously there is a bar and grill up there. I've read some Yelp reviews about them. They're so. But the Forest Lakes General Store typically ends up having a really good review. So, but that's where we can get ice. It's like I think it's like 7 miles down. No check-in. Are you talking about a one specific frequency to communicate with, Vinny, while we're up there? So what we'll do is we will definitely have basically a talk-in frequency, and we'll definitely have a simplex frequency that we'll monitor while up there. That one of the radios. Oh, you said check out the hotel. I said no. Okay, yeah. Anyways, and here is there is another campground up here, Canyon Point Campground. If you want to stay in a campground, go for it. You know, they probably have you know, the bathrooms, the toilets, and stuff of that nature. That's the one thing that we are not going to have over here. This is all dispersed camping. This is off the grid camping. So we're going to have to, you know, dig a pit and have a bathroom. We're not going to have access to water, so you're going to have to haul all your water up there. But the reason why I pointed out the Forest Lakes Lodge, actually the general store, was because it's not too far up here, and that's a good place to get ice. The other place to get ice is down here in Christopher Creek. If you really want to go over here to the Tall Pines Market and get ice, you could. Otherwise, you're going to have to go either into Heber and Overgard to get ice, which is a little bit further down the road, or go back into Payson. But this area should be a little bit cooler on us, maybe by about like 2 or 3 degrees. I don't know. We'll have to play it by ear. However, the one big thing that we are going to have to really pay attention to is weather. Weather. We're going to be on basically the forefront of all that stuff coming, all the nice little heat coming up from Phoenix is going to hit that nice moist air right up there on top of that ridge, and all of a sudden that's going to be causing some good thunderstorms and stuff of that nature. So, you know, we're going to be experiencing hopefully some good weather up there. I mean, I hope it's not during the time when we have actual field day, but before and after field day would be fine.
What's a few lightning strikes?
True. For those of you who want to know what field day is, it's basically I would say the most popular event out of the whole entire year. I like it. I have fun doing it. I don't know if I have more fun doing field day or winter field day. I don't know. But
winter field day was pretty good.
Oh yeah. Weather was perfect. I will have to say that. So I like field day. We'll go over field day at our next meeting, which is an actual physical meeting. We're going to definitely have a physical meeting next time around. It's going to be over at the Mesa Utilities building. And I already have that marked down. May Club meeting is going to be, is it May 29th? Or did I think that's correct. I'll have to look at the calendar, but I believe it is correct. If not, I'll get that all corrected and everything. But I believe May 29th is the correct one, and that one is the actual meeting prior to field day. So we will be discussing field day pretty much that entire time right there. That's pretty much going to be the May Club meeting. The meeting after field day is technically, it's going to happen, but it's not going to happen. It's going to be done while we're up there at field day. So we'll do a meeting up there at field day, and we will either record it or put it over the air, or on YouTube or something of that nature. Okay, so it's May 22nd. I'm awfully sorry. I'll have to edit this. It's May 22nd is the 4th Tuesday. So thank you, Vinny, for pointing that out. Matter of fact, I'll just go in here and fix it right now if I can. If it's going to allow me to. Anyways, Let's see here. Go back down over here. Let's go into events. I'll fix that right now while we're thinking about it. Make club meeting edit. And yeah, you are definitely correct. It is the 22nd. So I'll send that update right now. There you go. Now you get to see a little bit of the administrative side of the club website there. So, yep, May Club meeting 22nd. So, be there or be square, or if you really feel like being a round shape, then go for it. If you want to be a triangle, you can, but I'd like to see everybody there, because this is definitely going to be the meeting where we're going to want to talk about what gear we're going to bring and stuff of that nature. Let's see here. What else did we want to talk about? Is there anything else?
Where's your list?
It's right here. And that was pretty much, that was all I had for tonight. Anything else anybody else wants to talk about? Let's see here. I'm trying to think of what else we've got going on. Training for, if you guys have a specific training topic you would like to have done during field day, bring it up, let me know. Shoot me over an email. My email address, ke7vlc@wm7rc.org. That's my email address, so shoot me over an email. Or you can send it over to my other one. I'm trying to push all club traffic over to the KE7 VLC side, just for stuff from outside, from friends and stuff of that nature. Oh, did you send that over? Okay. Here we go. Let's transition over. Let me get this picture up.
Sign. Wow.
Here we go. Here's what the sign's going to look like. So, Joanne, Vinny, anybody else that's paying attention, this is what the sign's going to look like. Obviously, the arrows are going to be pointing in the direction where we're going to be. We're just not going to have just the arrows pointing in the same direction. Cause you guys to go around in circles and circles. However, that is going to be our sign. So, I don't know exactly how big of a sign it's going to be. Frank, I don't know if you can say anything about that. But we're going to have that out at the road, as well as at the entrance to where we're going to be camping. The arrow is actually going to be, I think, a removable arrow, so we can orient it in any direction we want.
That would be wise.
Yeah, this was something that Frank and Vinny, I think even Chad, I think we discussed this last field day. Talking about wanting to get signs and stuff of that nature. And then we started talking about where we wanted to do field day. And one of the things that came up with was, how do we tell people where we're at? So the sign issue came up. So Frank and I started looking at it. Yes, Frank did this. Thank you, Frank. I like it. I think it looks industrial. It looks really, really nice and basically rugged there. Fits perfectly for our club. Let's see here. What else did we have to discuss? Is there anything else anybody else wants to talk about, or let's see here. I'm trying to think. Did everybody kind of like? Did everybody see the intro? I'll bring in the intro here. Anyways, that's the intro right there. That's I took a Saturday and I started working on a couple things. I want to do an exit video as well. Of course, I think I'll probably just throw that one in there. I was looking at a couple other different little logos for our virtual meetings. Going back to trying to draw in younger hams and stuff of that nature, this is one reason why we do these virtual meetings. It's not because we don't want to do face-to-face meetings, but some of you might not necessarily be not be able to make it to the meetings all the time. You might be a businessman on the road, or a salesperson or something like that, or you might have church tonight or Boy Scouts or whatever, and you still want to kind of keep in touch with what's going on. So what we've been doing is we've been recording these videos, posting it to YouTube, so you can watch them later. That's a great idea. It's something that I think that a lot of clubs kind of miss out is, the ability for, keeping people informed as to what's going on outside of, the club meetings. So we're trying to do something different than every other club out there. So that's, let us know what we think. I thought about that, Vinny, and I could probably do something of that nature. I like the little artistic value of it. I guess I could play it again just so you guys can see it. Anyways, I like it. I thought it was fun. I've tried a couple other, because there's sites out there that actually do the work for you, and all you do is you provide the image and the information. And I think I played around with probably like 6 different sites, and I went through probably I'm gonna say probably about 40 or 50 different intros, trying to find the perfect one that matches up. So. Yeah, so I kind of like it. Yeah, Frank, I'll definitely put the transparent PNG on it and see what happens. See if that one looks pretty good. There's a couple other little intros and exits that I want to play around with. Obviously, this is a work in progress, so I like doing it. I enjoy doing it. It keeps me out of trouble. Not that I'm always in trouble, but keeps Dennis out of trouble. That's what this does. I really like this. So, if you guys have any comments or anything like that, definitely shoot it over. If you guys have any particular videos you would like us to do, let's do one. I did post up on our Facebook at one period of time, hey, listen, if anybody was into DMR radio, do you know what DMR radio stands for?
No.
It's the digital, what is it? I can't remember what it is, but it's digital mode or something like that. But it's basically what it is. It's VHF and UHF, but it's done via these other basically commercial class radios. I really like it. I've been getting into it. Frank and I have been really discussing this. Chad's got I think he picked up a nano spot. I want to look at the Shark RF and get that in there. I want to get a small handheld, and basically what it is it's a yeah, okay. So yeah, it is a lot to take in there, Vinny. I've started learning, and there is just a ton of information you got to do, and it's not something that you can easily just pick up. It's not like VHF is fairly easy to pick up and understand. The thing that I want to do with it, I would like to have every single club member to have a Shark RF, and all you have to do is plug it into your router at home. Now you've got access to the DMR network all across the globe.
I've seen them for sale. I didn't know exactly what they did.
Yeah. So they basically take your transmission and put it over the internet, and it comes out a whole bunch of other DMR hotspots and repeaters around the world. Actually, I was listening in on a podcast. I really, for those of you who don't know, I drive 1 hour to work and an hour home from work, to and from work. So 2 hours of the day I'm spent sitting in the car driving. Now, I get tired of listening to radio stations and the commercials. I do have XM satellite radio in my car, but sometimes I get tired of listening to the same music over and over again. So I listen to podcasts. I also listen to audiobooks too, but I'll stay on subject here about ham radio. There's a couple of podcasts that I actually listen to, and one of them's a field radio podcast. There's another one that is basically the ham workbench is what it's called, and they're talking about DMR all the time. And they were talking about how their group actually has a talk group that's specifically for their group. And anybody can join this talk group. All you have to do is know the talk group number, and you get it programmed into your radio. And no matter which repeater you are on in the world, you can actually reach just that group. So it's pretty powerful. And yes, Vinny. Only if it's on the same time slot, or if the repeater allows you in a specific time slot. So yeah, there's still a lot of stuff that I need to learn on it. And I reached out to everybody on Facebook, and I think I got one person that said that he wouldn't mind doing a video or something like that. So I asked him to basically do up a couple intro videos and everything. I haven't seen anything yet. I might kick over a message to him and see what happens. But anyways, I'm starting to learn this. I think it's a really cool thing. Essentially, for those of you, and I think my brother's still on there. He's probably listening in. Anyways, if my brother had a Shark RF and I had a Shark RF here at my house, him at his house, connected up to the internet, I could literally key down my radio and talk to my brother over in Dallas, Texas, without actually interfering anybody else other than that specific time slot. But if it goes through my Shark RF, it's not interfering with anybody else, which I think is pretty cool. I was thinking this would be something fun to have in everybody's home, and just if I'm carrying
mobile though, I mean you got to have an internet connection.
Yes, you have to have an internet connection, or you have to have a repeater that has DMR capabilities.
Okay.
So those are the two caveats. Frank and I both have the our little Verizon hotspot for Wi-Fi when we go. So in theory, we could actually hook it up to that Wi-Fi hotspot, and then we could talk to people down here in the valley on our own private talk group. Now, I don't necessarily know I would keep it private, but I mean, you guys get the picture. Instead of hearing all the traffic, because if you listen in on RimLink during field day, for example, you're going to hear everybody talking, going, oh, well, I'm going to be up there at the campground here in just a little bit or something like that, and then there's going to be somebody else keying up saying, hey, listen, what are we going to do for dinner? And, so the repeater's going to be hogged up, tied up with a whole bunch of people making arrangements for field day. I think it'd be kind of fun to have our own little group that, doesn't interfere with anybody else. So anyways, yes, Vinny, the Shark RF is basically a VHF UHF to Wi-Fi gateway. And you program it in so that it listens in on specific talk groups, so it doesn't necessarily have to be your own talk group. There's a hold on one second while I get a drink. There's a group over in San Francisco. It's called the Bay Area Group Net. They have a whole bunch of VHF, UHF repeaters all over San Francisco Bay, up and down the coast there. But they also have their own DMR talk group. Now the funny thing is, as life is, not everybody stays in the same area all the time. There's people, you might end up having to leave the San Francisco area to go get a job up in, say, Seattle or New York City or something like that. The nice thing is now you're able to still talk to all of your friends back in San Francisco without needing a repeater or HF. You can just do it from your little Shark RF. Set it on a desk and the HT is connected to the internet. Yep, exactly. That's precisely it, Vinny. It's basically you set it up. I would have it set up on my shelf or something like that, and now wherever I go in my yard or in my house, I'm connected. I could also take it over to work with me and plug it in over there, and now guess what? I'm on the network. So I think it'd be kind of fun to do. Something to play around with. I don't necessarily know that it's the end all aspect of ham radio, but I think it'd be kind of fun to play around with and toy around with and see how it works. And this one guy on this podcast was actually talking about how he was driving up to some place like Chicago or something like that, and he was taking a road trip. He had his little hotspot hooked up to his Wi-Fi hotspot, which was connected up to the cellular network. And he was driving down the road with his little HT, talking to friends back home while he's driving along.
Yeah, pretty good.
So I think it'd be kind of fun, And then if you're like in a hotel room, you just plug it into the public, hotspot or something like that, and away you go. Now you can communicate, And if you got your husband or wife, into ham radio, and they were sitting at home, they could communicate with you over, over radio instead of, of course, nowadays you can use your cell phone, and I can dial pretty much anywhere in the U.S. for free, anyways. But
or Europe,
yeah, true. But I think it'd be fun to play around with. And again, goes back to trying to push the younger hams into the hobby and get them excited and things of that nature. New technology, new processes, new procedures, things of that nature. Vinny's got, well, you know what, Joanne? You've got a good point there. What about Echolink? Echolink is great. Echolink is great if you're able to connect with a repeater that actually has Echolink. Not all repeaters out there have Echolink. Not all repeaters have DMR either. However, the downfall of Echolink is you kind of really have to play around with the settings to get it just right. Whereas DMR, it's pretty much you kind of have to play around with the Shark RF to get it properly set up. But once it's done, it's done. The rest of the but I think that Echolink is fun. I stopped using Echolink a long time ago just because it was hard to get anybody to actually talk to me. The cool thing about DMR is I can connect up with a DMR repeater over in, say, France and talk to somebody over in France from my living room without needing HF. I've stopped kind of doing Echolink a long time ago. I got bored with it, I think is what it was. It was once you've got the Echolink all kind of set up, it was just okay, just point and click. But there was people, and it all depended on your connection to the internet too. But I don't know. Echolink has its place, and IRLP has its place, and these are all different aspects of ham radio that people could play with. Maybe one of these days, maybe we'll have a net on Echolink. But the thing is in reality, you want to actually do a net on a repeater rather than on Echolink, because it's just all of a sudden now it just becomes a chat room like we're doing right now. So I mean, I guess I could put Echolink on here and bring everybody in, but then you have the issue of people keying up over each other and stuff of that nature. So I don't know. I want to experience DMR. I want to see what play around with it and everything. Let's see here. What else? So if you guys have any questions about something, want to have a topic covered, please speak up. Go to our Facebook page and put up there, say, hey, listen, for our next meeting or one of these next couple meetings, can you talk about this specific subject or something like that? Give me some give me some information. Give me some topics to talk about. Yes, Vinny. Mumbler. We definitely want to work on that. I think we've got a couple things that we could do with that. And I want to sit down one of these days when I'm not busy. Gosh dang it. Almost every weekend I've been busy lately. So anyways, I definitely want to sit down with you and talk with you about Mumbler a little bit more. I think it would be a great idea. And I think you've got something there that I think we need to sit down and actually work out the details on, so that we could do it. It's kind of like the IRC chat. I would like to bring that topic back up and try to see about getting that. I don't think that everybody's going to be interested in IRC chat. Not too sure how, Dennis is probably sitting there going, what in the world is IRC chat? And technically it's not IRC chat because the C means chat, so it would be just IRC. Anyways, IRC is just basically an instant messenger app. Okay. It's a lot more anonymous, so that's the reason. Is it still running? Okay, I was not aware. We need to probably write up some instructions on how to do it and how to get it set up and running one of these days. But if you guys stumble across a topic that you want discussed or you would like to discuss, okay, now I don't necessarily need to be the one that teaches it, all right? This is something that, okay, Joanne, if you want to talk about something, or if you want to do some research on a topic and talk about it, let me know what the topic is, and we'll get you scheduled and we'll get you set up and we'll do it, all right? Same way with you, Frank or Vinny. Don't be afraid to say, hey, I want to teach something, or I want to do a topic, or but if there is a topic, if you're too afraid to stand up and talk, or get on webcam and talk, we'll send me over the subject and I'll study it. I'll try to become I'm not going to claim that I'm an expert at everything. Matter of fact, I'm far from being an expert at anything, other than being a pain in the butt, but or in trouble all the time. But again, the more topics you guys give me, or the more topics you guys want to do, the better off the club is going to be. So I don't want to just sit around and just talk about bandpass filters for the rest of the for the next 10 years. Although I thought it was a fun project. I thought it was a fun project. I still think it's a great project. And if you guys want to see exactly, or want to learn how to build a bandpass filter, let's do it. One topic that somebody suggested for field day, that for new hams, is soldering. Okay. So we probably should do a soldering station and set up, and do a little bit of practice soldering and stuff of that nature, and teach people how to do soldering. Okay. One of the issues with soldering, though, is it's a hot item. All right, people. Soldering irons are
third-degree
hot.
burns in a heartbeat.
Yes. So you got to be very, very, very careful when handling a soldering iron. All right. Vinny, what was your topic idea, or do you want to shoot it over to us via Facebook? While I switch over, I'm going to do something different here. Okay, he sent me over the logos too. I'll bring that picture back up. I like that. All right. You guys are probably sitting there going, what in the world are you talking about, Orion? What do you like? Arrgh! Arrgh! I love it. I'm impressed with that. International Amateur Radio Law.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we could go over that. Is there any specific law that you would like to talk about? Thou shalt not be sitting behind the microphone naked, Vinny. I think that's illegal. Just an FYI. you know. Anyways, yeah, we could do that. Any specific amateur radio laws that you want to look at, or all of them? We'll definitely look into it. We could definitely we'll definitely talk about that. Any other topics that you guys would like or suggestions? Field day at Shangri-La. Oh.
Well, we're really dropping into the depths, aren't we?
I was thinking reciprocal agreements and protections under Geneva Convention. Well, Geneva Convention doesn't even exist anymore, Vinny. Just sorry, just to let you know. No, I'm joking. We could definitely do the reciprocal agreements. And one of the topics that you hear is about third-party traffic. We could talk about third-party traffic and when and who we can send third-party traffic to and how to do it. Oh, well, reciprocal agreements I think would be kind of cool, especially between Canada, Europe, you know, Great Britain, you know, just in case you guys are all traveling or something like that. It probably wouldn't be a bad topic to talk about. We could definitely do that. But well, protections under Geneva Convention, I think we'll leave out. That, let's see here. There was, for field day, soldering station, maybe teaching a little bit about how to solder. Anybody who wants to do bandpass filters, we could definitely go over that as well. Is there any topic, any main topic that you guys would like to like for senior hams or anything? Is there anything you guys would like to, you know, if we don't have a lot of you know, new hams or anything like that, is there something that we could always cover that, you know, cover something different? Sky says, I think he wants to know how to do. What is it, Sky? What would you like to do? What kind of dogs you can talk to over HF? Is that what you want? Okay, we'll cover that subject too. All right. Oh yeah. Help with building my own antenna for field day. Oh yeah, we could definitely help with that. Matter of fact, that could involve soldering as well. Hey, there we go. We got our soldering project, and we could build an antenna. We'll do that.
Is that for a new radio?
Okay, you already have one at home. Okay, what type of Sky's radio needs a woofer? It definitely does. Joanne, back to your question there. Are you talking about VHF, UHF, or HF? Well, Sky says he loves HF, so he loves the static of HF. That's what he likes. Okay, not sure. Well, think about that. Let us know what you would like to do, and we'll definitely accommodate. I think we could build a dipole fairly easy. Have you ever built one of those, Joanne?
I don't know, a pair of TV rabbit ears you can make a VHF.
Yeah. You know, for you know what we could do is we could build a, you know, one of my favorite antennas was the bubblegum antenna. Although I'm going to have to find a coat hanger. A wire coat hanger, not a plastic one. Plastic, for some strange reason, doesn't do RF.
Just forget all the coat hangers. They got all kinds of heavy-duty copper wire to make things.
Okay, all right.
None of this coat hangers.
Flower pot dual band. Hey, there we go. We got our project right there.
Okay, there's also one with a coffee pot.
Yeah, we could do that. Coffee can.
Coffee can.
Okay.
Those are easy.
Yep. Bird feeder. We can do a bird feeder if you want.
Yeah, you could.
You know. Yeah. So, you would like a good one. Okay. And I'm trying to think, well, the bubblegum antennas, yeah, yeah, good old Sky, he's all barking. He knows we're talking about him. You didn't want to be left out, did you? Anyways, yeah, it's, yeah, let's, Frank, Vinny, let's kind of get together and discuss this and see exactly what type of VHF, UHF antenna that we can build up there. I'm sure that there's a ton out there that we can do. I'm trying to think right off the top of my head. I liked my bubblegum antenna. I thought that was easy, but you need to have either coat hanger or wire. But I like the coat hanger idea because, you know, but coat hangers are now plastic nowadays, so it's really hard to find the wire ones anymore. But and the reason why it was called bubblegum antenna, just for your information, was because you took an SO 239 and you plugged a piece of wire right into the the center conductor part of it, and then you took a piece of bubble gum and wrapped it around there to hold it. That's the reason why it was called a bubblegum antenna.
It's truly sad.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but you know, if you're in an emergency situation and you need to communicate, there you go.
At least you could crimp it.
Yeah, well, you could, or solder it. You know, you could solder it on there. It's pretty easy. I liked it. What I wanted to do with it, and I ended up having to break it apart because I had to move some stuff, and the antenna busted off, and so the SO239 got damaged and all this other stuff. But what I wanted to do with it was run a piece of coax up PVC pipe. And you okay, Sky? You okay, bud? All right. And plug the coax into the bottom of the antenna and put little notches in the PVC pipe to sit it down on, so that you can raise it up high or put it around a pole or something like that and get it, you know, get elevation on the antenna. So yeah, I'll have to I'll show your indoor HF. You know what? Let me find it here. Vinny. Actually, did you send it over to me via... Oh, let's go back here. I thought you sent it over to via email. Or did you do it up on... Let's see here. Let's see here. Do you have photos? You have photos up? No, you don't have photos up here. I thought you had it up here. There it is. Here's Vinny's antenna.
Slinky. Okay.
Yeah, slinky antenna. I like this. I like this. Here it is. Yeah, it's... Here's a great HF antenna right here. I mean, that is just... That's... you know, I'm pretty proud of Vinny for doing something like that, because, you know, that takes guts to do it, and it looks like a fun project.
As long as he patches the holes when he moves out of his apartment.
Well, and just so you know, the plastic slinkies don't work.
Well, that's...
You know...
I don't believe I've ever seen a plastic slinky.
Well, they have them out there, but here's his end, and how he's got it. Here's the piece. It looks like this is the piece of coax. Looks like he's got it. So that's actually pretty nice, Vinny. You did a good job. That is actually pretty cool. I will have to give you credit where credit is definitely due. That is so awesome, Vinny.
Looks like he needs 2 slinkies. So he
yeah.
can have a dipole.
We might need to raise some funds for him to go out and buy those slinkies, because, you know.
$1.69 at the dollar store.
Anyways, so there's Vinny's Vinny's little project. A great project. I think that's so cool. So I think that's really, really awesome that he did that. You know, it just shows what you can use. You know, you don't necessarily need to have just a straight piece of wire. You can use something else too. Let's see here. So 30 by 30 with slinkies at end to tune on 80 meters. And yes, They do use flagpoles. There's quite a few people that use flagpoles. There's another way to use a flagpole, kind of an in-fed antenna, but we'll have to definitely discuss that a little bit more. What kind of antennas that you can use in emergency situations? I think that's a great topic to talk about one of these meetings. You know. You know, necessity is the mother of all inventions. You know, when you have to stop and think about it. Yep. So yeah, we'll definitely do that. I'll put that down as one of the meeting topics. It definitely won't be May, because May meeting is strictly 100% about field day. I really want to make sure that everybody knows about field day, and where we're going and what we're bringing and stuff of that nature. So. I'll probably do it. Let's see here. June is going to be the meeting where we're going to be at field day. I'll just probably either record that and then post it later, or something of that nature. But let's talk about let's do either July or August. Shoot. Let's see here. Let's do that for a July topic, unless somebody else has something that they would like to talk about in July. Just an FYI, my ham license renewal is coming up.
So's mine.
So I got to renew that. August, we're having a physical meeting over at the Utilities Club. Everybody's invited. There will be cake. Yes, you heard it right. Cake. I will have a cake. All right, so
Are you making it?
Probably not. I'm pretty good at baking. I'm better at baking cookies than cakes, but I could bake a cake and bring it.
There's always Costco.
Yeah, or fries or whatever. I'll find something, but we will have cake in August. So for everybody that shows up, you get a piece of cake. If not more. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, but let's make that into our July topic. Let's talk about you know, and Vinny did bring up a good point. Matter of fact, we'll tie that in with Vinny's little topic. Let me find our, let's see here. He posted it not too long ago. It was a great topic. Where is it? Here we go. Vinny brought it up when talking about his Slinky antenna. You know, if you live in a country or an area that's ever overrun or under foreign military occupation, you can thank HOAs, as hams will have the training and knowledge to quickly deploy hidden HF stations. It's a great topic.
Well, I guess. I mean, you know.
We can talk about stealth antennas at that point in time. Let's do that. Yeah.
Coming.
Alrighty. So there we go. We got our July topic. That's what we will talk about in July. Anything else? Anything? Any questions? Comments? You like my intro? Woohoo! I love my intro. Slot dish antenna. Great for a stealth antenna as well. And I agree there, Frank. I don't necessarily know exactly how well they work, but
I think I've got a deal on that for one of those.
I might have to look up the QRZ mag. There was a QRZ magazine or something. Yeah.
I'll probably get my antenna notebook.
Yeah. That'd be kind of fun to do, talk about. We could definitely do that. Let's see here. One other topic I wanted to talk about was really quick. Magazines. I get the QST magazine all the time. I know that the ARRL throws a little hissy fit about sharing articles and things of that nature because, you know, it's copyrighted and all that other stuff. You know, nothing against the ARRL, but the QST magazine's a great wealth of training topics. So I will be sharing QST articles as well if I find them or discuss about them. If I see something that I think everybody would benefit from, I'll probably go right ahead and make some photocopies and pass it out under the educational topics, because you can do that.
Fan blade.
What?
My
antenna?
VHF.
Oh, your VHF out of a fan blade?
Yeah, you didn't even notice, did you, when I had it set up?
No, I did not notice that. No. I thought that was just a fan to keep you cool.
It's actually an old fan blade from one of my refrigeration units that went bad.
Okay.
I hammered it flat.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, got my blacksmithing.
Anyways, it is about time to wrap this up. So again, if there's any topics that you would like to have discussed or something that comes up, or like, hey, listen, for let's see here. You know what we could discuss? Emergency preparedness month, I think, is September, if I remember right. Let me look that up here. It's September, National Preparedness Month. I apologize. For our August meeting, I think we need to talk about preparedness. I know I was going on a little tirade about, you know, ARRL shouldn't be pushing emergency communications and things of that nature. I think hams just naturally, that's what they think about anyways whenever, you know, it comes into ham radio.
Yeah, it's been in the news. That's the reason.
Yeah. And I'm not going to get into the whole entire Puerto Rico thing. Frank and I discussed Puerto Rico up the wazoo for a while back. I guess we could discuss it, but quite honestly, it was a mess. It was, and I'm not talking necessarily about Puerto Rico itself. I'm talking about the way ARRL handled the whole entire Puerto Rico fiasco. But we can talk about that some other time, or we can take that offline. But I would like to do something since our meeting in September is towards the end of the month, I think it'd be kind of nice to do something in August for National Preparedness Month. So if you guys, maybe we should move the emergency communications antennas to August instead of July. I guess we could do that. I just need to find a topic for July then. I didn't even think about that until just a few moments ago, going, oh, wait a second, National Preparedness Month is September. So let's do that. Let's do August. We'll talk about emergency antennas that you can build and things of that nature.
Okay.
We'll do that for
antennas
August.
You can build out of your trash can.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. Yep. Yep. Scrounging around in the junkyard.
Scrounge.
Yes. Scrounging around for antennas. That would be a great topic. Okay. That sounds good for August. So now we just need to come up with a topic for July. We have plenty of time to do it in, so I'm not sweating it too much. So anyways, I think that's going to be about it for tonight. If you guys have anything, post to the Facebook page or send me over an email. So, anything you wanted to add, Dennis?
No, I've got an old 23 channel CB. I think you could put your new radio in. It's one of those that comes in a wooden kit, has a power supply.
Okay.
I'll drag it out and see if you want it.
Okay. For the uBitx. Okay. Yeah. All right. I think that's about it for tonight, guys. Great club meeting. Thank you, Joanne, for arriving and being on there. I hope you guys all like the virtual meetings with an occasional face-to-face meeting. And if you guys have any questions, comments, feedback, topics, post it to Facebook or send me an email. All right, guys. Hope you guys all have a good evening, and I will say 73, and hope to see you at the next meeting.